How y'all doing? What's going on? Honey, when I tell you, we got some stuff to talk about because the judge, when I tell you the judge got some stuff to say about this, and honey, when I tell you Judge Mathis, he is cracking the case. Judge Mathis is telling us about all the cover ups about Nolan Wells, and I'm so proud of my black men. Shout out to black men that are speaking up and really putting so much power behind Nolan Wells. Man, I wish Nolan Wells was here live today to see how much his people stood up for him, you know? Man, oh man, it's so sad that he will never be finish college, never be able to get married and have kids and have a family like his desires were. He had his whole future ahead of him. And those three white boys just took it. So I got this video. I think we should react to it. If you guys want me to open up the phone line, press a 4 and I would do so. I'm going to open up the phone lines if you guys will have it. So let's watch this video. Let's see what's going on. And yeah, check this out. Let me put this up. Come on, Judge.
Question comes in with me. They say he left his cell phone. They have his cell phone. They had it in their possession. Okay, so if your buddy says to you, I'm leaving, you all go back. I'm staying by myself. No friends, just me wandering around. And then you see that he had left his cell phone. So you say, in the boat. And instead of taking it back to a friend who's on the island by himself, and by the way, did you ask him how he was getting home? So instead of going back, you couldn't be that far off because the phone right in the boat. Say an hour or two. If you're a real friend, you'll drive back on that recreational hour or two on the boat having fun to give your man his phone.
That's
because
right.
If he's out there by himself, no question about it, 90% white in the state of Mississippi that has a history of demonizing and black men and killing them in the civil rights era. Most of the civil rights killings occurred in Mississippi, including Medgar Evers, including our dear young brother from Mississippi who was killed, and several others. And so we know that Mississippi has a history of demonizing and
Woo, honey, that's scary right there. I would hate to be there. Could y'all imagine you are alone in an island and everybody is 95% white and you're in Mississippi? You know they have a history of unaliving black folks and being nasty to black folks and looking at black folks mean. And they be like, damn, I can just dump this ninja in the water and we can be done with his ass. I would not feel comfortable. Hell no. Hell no. Ooh, would y'all feel comfortable? Press 4 if you would not feel comfortable being the only black person on that island in Mississippi on the 4th of July. Okay, on the 4th of July, where all those white supremacy was marching on the White House and we in this Trump administration. Hell no. Hell no. I don't give a fuck, y'all. Look, Nolan did not want to stay behind. Nolan did not want to stay behind on that damn island with all them white folks by himself. He really thought these three brothers were his friends. Nolan said, give me my effing phone back, man. And they wouldn't give him his phone. They did something to his ass, then they took off. Okay, I don't know everything or where they put the body and stuff like that, but I know they did something. They took that man's phone. That's what I do know. I do know he did not want to stay on no island by himself with all them whites. And then how his ass was going to get home. Hell no. You know, they got into a fight. The owner of the boat, his name is Ike. His brother name is Wyatt. They said Wyatt and Nolan got into a big argument or a fight or something, you know. And if that's Wyatt's brother's boat and Wyatt got control over it, he probably said, "Your ass ain't getting on the boat," and did something to him because they was very angry at him. That's why they ass all lawyered up. They did something. That's why they all lawyered up. Don't that make sense? If you were to unalive Nolan, wouldn't your ass lawyer up too? Hello? But let me stop talking and let me play this clip. I see y'all in the comments. Hit that link. Come up here and talk. Let's go.
Criminalizing black men. And so the question became, what is the investigation going to be? Well, the police immediately accepted the version of the three young men that returned. Now, here you are, you're supposed to be the police. And I just deduced it, and I deduced it not just now, but I had deduced it immediately after seeing it in the media. And I'm not an investigator, I'm a lawyer and a judge, but an investigator, that is a police investigator / detective, has investigative techniques that would have immediately thrown into question what occurred. And common sense throws into question what occurred. And that's where we're at now. And there's some actions being taken by Ben Crump. I've spoken with him, and he's on top of it. And the family has the questions raised. Again, why would he leave his cell phone? Because it had to be voluntary. And then voluntarily stay on an island by himself without telling them why. A lot of questions there.
He didn't leave his cell phone. They took it. They took that cell phone. He didn't leave his cell phone. Don't y'all believe that? They did something to him, y'all. He did not leave his cell phone and his keys with people that he was arguing with. They did something to him.
Holes in it, and that's what that grand jury is going to look into. That's the good news.
Yeah, that definitely don't make no sense. So why would he give his phone to his friend? And I heard that his mom.
Can y'all stop entertaining the damn lie? You heard Nolan on the tape talking about give my fucking phone back. What the F? Give me my phone back. They would not give Nolan his phone. That's why they still got his phone and his keys, and he erased all that shit on his phone. I mean, 1 + 1 = 2. We already saw the audio, and y'all still questioning this shit? Sorry, I don't mean to act like this, y'all. I really don't. All right. I really don't want to bring this side of me out.
She had to find out by using an app that his friend had his phone after it was reported that he was missing.
Very suspicious, correct. And then there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of unanswered questions. There's allegedly an altercation that took place, and I think they say there may be some footage of it. Some have been AI generated, various things, so we don't really know what's true or not. But I think they have eyewitnesses, and that's where the investigation should go. Were there eyewitnesses that saw any type of altercation? Is there video? There's cameras everywhere. You can't do anything without being caught on camera. Believe me.
Yes, Judge. It's plenty of people that said it was a fight. It was multiple fights on the beach dealing with the boys. Nolan went with. They were very aggressive. All them boys, they were very in fighting mode. They were angry. I heard someone was doing sugar boogers. They was on one, Judge. Multiple people have said that. And with this AI, you know the AI is racist. Look it up. They are practicing in construction AI to be racist, to be the new white supremacy in the AI, baby, okay? Whew. All right, let's go.
And so to that extent, there's some footage out there that shows this altercation, if indeed it occurred. And so the grand jury, they are impaneled when there's a reasonable suspicion that something may have occurred. So that's good news. There's a reasonable suspicion that a crime has been committed. When you go to the grand jury, the prosecutor presents all the evidence that they have to explain to the grand jury the case they're looking into. And 90% of the time, over 90% of the time, the Prosecutor comes back with an indictment because grand juries only hear one side. So they're only going to hear the side of the prosecutor. So the question becomes, is the prosecutor going to do a thorough investigation and presentation to the grand jury? Because if they miss some parts of the evidence that is necessary, then the grand jury has nothing to consider. But if, as it has been in most cases, it goes where the grand jury charge has been made, it's going to go to an indictment. And then all evidence will be seen on all sides. What I don't like about grand juries is if the defense don't get a chance to present their case to the grand jury. It's only the prosecutor. Prosecutor says, we have this, that, and the other evidence, begins talking, brings people in to interview them during the grand jury process, and then they determine whether there's probable cause to believe that a crime was committed. Probable cause means more likely than not. Reasonable suspicion means there may have been a crime, and so we have to look into it. Probable cause means we believe there was a crime, more likely than not. So that's where we're at with it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Nolan's mom, she said that his phone was scrubbed, right?
Yes, the mother said that some of the things on his phone had been removed. And I don't know what evidence they have of that, but she's not saying anything to jeopardize the truth in this case. And so everything she says, I'm going to take her at her word. She has no reason to trump up anything. She wants to get to the bottom of this and who killed her son. I don't believe he drowned. I believe he was killed.
Yes, he was killed. You were right. He was killed. Press 5 if Nolan Wells was killed. He was killed. It was no drowning. Okay? The white folks keep on trying to say, well, he drowned. He was intoxicated. He was depressed. And he was sooty-sidey. And he went into the water by himself with nobody around. And he just magically did this to himself. Like they've been doing it. They've been always telling black bodies that is sooty-sidey or accident. It's the same pattern they keep on doing, and I'm sick of them. Now let's go. He's talking right.
I'm a judge that has to weigh all the evidence. Preliminarily, that's what I see. You don't leave your friend on an island, seeing that he has left his phone, and not at least go back. You came there with him. You left him there, you say, because he wanted to stay. But you notice that he's left his phone. How was he going to get home in the first place? Wouldn't he need his...
That's right. But they already killed him. They already did something to him, okay? And someone want to know, why would they present a case to the grand jury without the white boys? Because they want to protect the white boys. They started off protecting the white boys. So the white boys don't have to say anything, because the white boys keep talking, then the white boys might be getting in trouble. So they got to do it this way. You know, they already didn't realize the shit was going to blow up. Okay. They don't realize, they underestimate the power of the black voice and how we look out for ours. Okay. So they thinking these niggas in Mississippi, nobody care about them. Let's do it and let's move on. They've been doing niggas like this in Mississippi, and all of them don't go to worldwide news anyway. Hell. But honey, this one right here, oh hell no. Hell no. So they doing it so the white boys won't have to talk and the white boys won't get in trouble. Just like they did with Carmelo Anthony. Do you remember that? They didn't have that twin, Hunter. His ass wasn't talking. He didn't have his ass on the stand. And he was right there. You know, they doing it to save the white boys. That's all that is. Let's go.
Phone in order to call his transportation? Or they should have known some of that. He would have said, I'm going to get home by such and such way. Hey man, I'm not coming. Y'all go ahead. I got a young lady. Okay, man. Is she gonna bring you home? How you gonna get home? You don't ask any of those questions. So you must have asked those.
That's the shit is stupid. Ain't no girl taking a nigga home when she first meet them. Do y'all take niggas home at 4:30 p.m.? You just met a man. It's the 4th of July, and you gonna take this nigga home. Are you dumb? I don't know you. Let's exchange numbers. You go back with your party. I'm gonna go back with my girls to my party, and we'll talk later on tonight or tomorrow, goddamn it, or you take me on a date. Ain't nobody doing that. That shit don't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. And y'all just buying it. Y'all not questioning this shit. Okay, and ain't no boy gonna leave his homeboys, his bros, to hang out with no female he just met at 4 p.m. something, just to hang out. What the fuck, y'all think this is a fairy tale? His ass is about to go off to college. He ain't thinking about, oh, a fairy la 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 la. If his ass was a fairy tale type of nigga, this whole 4th of July, he would have been already in lovey-dovey with a girl already. He likes to hang out with his bros. His brothers is just like family. Bros before hoes. Have you heard that? Yeah, that type. So he got in an argument with his bros. His bros has some hatred towards him. You heard him. Give me my effing phone back. It's a lot of beef on that thing. They didn't want his ass to be on that boat.
Questions. If you didn't, that's more evidence that I believe contributed to the reasonable suspicion. So I'm with the prosecutor. How about that so far? So you won't have to say that the judge is making conclusions without getting the evidence. The prosecutor has found enough evidence to create a reasonable suspicion that a crime occurred. And now they're going to interview everybody and come up with some answers on whether to indict. So I'm there with the prosecutor so far. Take it to the grand jury. Now I have to wait till what the grand jury comes back with before I support any charge or any lack of charges.
So you feel like it was foul play?
Yes. It doesn't make sense, and it creates a presumption. When you don't
Yes, it was foul play. I gotta ask y'all something. Real shit. You at the mall with your girlfriend. Your girlfriend just met a nigga at the mall, y'all. And your girlfriend like, let Michael come in a car with us and we gonna drop him home. Bitch, I know you lying. You don't know fucking Michael. You just met his ass. I don't know motherfucking Michael. Michael not going in my car. Bitch, you better move around. I don't give a damn. It could be my sister just meeting a nigga and then you wanna get in my motherfucking car? In our car? It don't even gotta be my car. A car I'm getting in, I'm not about to get in no car with no stranger you just met. Okay? That shit ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna fly. Would it fly with y'all? Press 7? Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. You better call a Uber, nigga. And if his ass don't got money for a Uber, then what the fuck you doing with him, ho? Okay? Okay? You better call a Uber. Sound like a setup to me.
have an explanation and someone ends up dead, and you hear contradictory or stories that really aren't credible because they make no sense, and you hear the same story from three people, who knows? They may have told 2 or 3 different stories. We don't know. We will know when that grand jury comes back. So that's the case in that scenario.
Do you feel like the person who had Nolan's phone should face charges? There's a lot of people out there that feel that way.
Well, they only know he had it. Well, did he try and keep it? And did the mother just discover? I think that's what we found. The mother discovers it. The question is, how long after did she have to chase down the phone, if you will? Was it 1 day, 2 days, 3 days? Perhaps if it happened within hours of them returning, then maybe you do give a little grace there. But if it happened a day or two, suddenly I got to chase down the phone. then yes, that's an additional reason to be suspicious. It causes reasonable suspicion. And yeah, so I think those are the factors, and those are all the things that's going to come out in the investigation. How did she find out where his phone was? How long did it take her to find it out? What was the reaction once she went to retrieve the phone, or the police went to retrieve the phone? Those are the answers that are come in this further grand jury investigation.
All right, now somebody is saying this in the comment section. They saying the grand jury might be scared too. The governor said out his own mouth that he drowned and the boys are not guilty. They want to be any charges. Sound like the devil of Mississippi. Y'all do realize what administration we in. Please put in the comment section what administration we in. We in a motherfucking Trump administration. What does that mean, Gigi? That means we already saw 250 white supremacy felt fucking comfortable to march at the in the White House on the 4th of July, the day Nolan Wells died. Hello? Connect the fucking dots. Honey, they feel comfortable. You know they got to make some black sacrifices. Look at their past history. They already told your bitch ass, make America great again, motherfucker. And what did that mean? Burning niggas on the crosses. Okay? And right down in Mississippi. And they always do it in a motherfucking group. I ain't never seen them burn a black man on a cross and it's just one of them. They do it in groups. What does that mean? They work in packs. Okay? They don't work as individuals. They all scattered. They got money behind them. Big money. They in government. They in doctor's position. They are mayors and all that. They all tied in. It's the system. It's bigger than just 3 white boys. It's the whole system. It's the whole fucking matrix, bitch. They all working together. Okay? It's all tied in together. So we're fighting not against 3 white boys. We're fighting against the system. And the system is going to protect itself. The system is going to try to do some janky. Okay, the system got to pretend like they want to help your ass. Oh, we're going to get the grand jury. We're going to do this. They want to come off like they're being fair and just. But bitch, you be a fool if you trust them. Hell. Y'all should know this already, goddammit. And I'm sorry. Y'all have to see me cuss because I've tried my best. I want to rebrand. I don't want to cuss no more. I want to be nice and polite. Okay? Let's go.
With all the information you know, right? What do you personally think happened to him?
Well, if they say there was an argument, they say they left him there without him telling them how he was getting home. They said it was, I don't know if they said it was an altercation, but others say that it was an altercation. I guess we'll wait and see if that's the case. But if that was the case, the question becomes who was the altercation with? And it could be that his buddies just punked out and fled. They may have seen a fight and left him. And now they're scared to admit they're punks. That's far reaching, but I believe there was foul play. I don't know how it may have occurred, but for his phone to be left in the boat, obviously, or
Nah, Judge, I'm sorry. You shouldn't even said that because now you done pissed me off. You done pissed me the freaking off. He gonna talk about, well, maybe I'm not even gonna say the P word because I am part of the LGBT community. He gonna say maybe they P words. You know, maybe they were afraid. When you are an afraid person, what motherfucker, didn't they call help, the boat is sinking? Why didn't they call help, my friend is getting jumped, my friend is getting beat, and I don't know what to do, help. They can call help for when the boat is goddamn sinking, when the boat ain't sinking, because they were still driving that boat 50 hours later after the boat is allegedly sinking. Who gets on a boat and drive hours when it got cracks in the boats, when it's water coming out the boats, when the boat is sinking? Are y'all gonna be in that goddamn ocean for all them hours and the boat is sinking? I think that was a damn lie. The boat was never sinking. I don't know what they was doing, but the boat was never sinking. And clearly they called somebody for help to bring somebody out there to tow the boat because the boat was allegedly so fucked up. But yet they were so in a hurry. They couldn't wait no more. And they moved the fuck off. What your ass in a hurry for? Nolan out here now in Ireland. What the fuck y'all in a hurry for? In a hurry to go to all those pit stops. You're going here, you're going there, you're going this, you're going that with Nolan phone and Nolan keys. Something ain't right. Then your ass is lawyered up real quick. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. Nah, they ain't no punks. I'm sorry, I ain't supposed to say that. I'm sorry. They knew it. They ain't scared. They is not scared. If they were so scared, soon as they got to the land, if they didn't call, they would have said, listen, this is what's going on. I got to tell y'all, please go back and help my buddy. I need the police over there. They beating his ass. Please help my buddy. Did they do any of that? Scary people gonna run and tell. Especially 3 white boys. Y'all got FBI fathers. Y'all got judges that's mamas. Hell yeah, you gonna tell what happened to Nolan. But see, they have something to do with it. That's what the fuck. That's why they gotta be quiet. That's why the judge mama say, scrub y'all internet. Take everything off. Everything gotta come off. Everything. We ain't saying shit. We're gonna be silent because they got something to hide. Now they telling me they're doing an interview with Brandon Tatum. Of course they're going to do an interview with Brandon motherfucking Tatum. You know his goon ass. Okay, let's go.
Retrieved, rather, and taken in the boat. There's something nefarious about that. So I'm not going to guess and say whether I think they've committed a crime. I'm going to say it's reasonable suspicion to believe that they've committed a crime based on the narrative and the evidence that has been presented so far.
Do you believe it was racial bias in the investigation?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Because our life is less valuable to the larger community, to white folks. We devalue Black men. They devalue our community in general and neglect to give the type of attention to the victimization, crime victims in our community. And this is no more different. You know, Mississippi really has a bad reputation, and this once again is reinforcing it. And I hope they get to the bottom of there's going to be another black eye. Emmett Till, Medgar Evers. Now this, Nolan Wells. I think it may have been Alabama, but the 3 civil rights college students that were killed, I think it was Mississippi. So in that case, Warner, Goodman, and Cheney, two Jews and a black man. And so I think that might have been in Mississippi. Nonetheless, it's in that same region. Yeah, one more thing. You know, most upper income black folks live in predominantly white communities because that's what upper income is, and white suburbs of America, the bordering towns or suburbs. That's where all the rich folks are. And to that extent, rich black folks, that's where they're going to be if they want to live the highest quality of life. Those living the highest quality of life, those are the folks who have the most money. So those with the most money should live the highest quality of life. So to that extent, however, you see a very small number of black folks living in rich areas or with white kids, period, growing up with white kids. And in the instance of my children, for example, you know, they grew up prosperous, of course. And when we left Detroit, thank God they were in the 9th and 10th grade, so they were already stable with regard to their perspective on the world. because in LA, La La Land, you lose perspective of what's happening on the real world. You're kind of isolated, and they have different values, and their lifestyles are different. So in my case with my sons, 90% of their friends were black during their grade 6 through when we left Detroit, 9th through 12. However, they had been strengthened and undergirded with African American history, all black schools in Detroit up until you were able to be the bad guy who everybody likes. That's what cowboys are. The bad guy, and everybody likes him though. I said, no, don't you be that. I'm hanging, I'm cool because I got the brother with me. Or he's all right and we'll let him hang, but we ain't bringing him over for dinner. I'd like to hear that. How often he went to dinner with those children's at those children's home? How often he?
Well, according to the brother, I'll let you know because I know everything. Ike said that the black Nolan Wells lived in his house for 3 years. Press 5 if y'all know that. Press 5, right? That's what Ike said. And he called us worthless blacks. All right. That's what he said. And shout out to Over and Out 3551 donated $10. Thank you. Rest in peace to Nolan. I didn't know any about this until today. Damn, where you been? It's utterly disgusting that we genuinely cannot love each other. Everything has to be about hate. And for what? I tell you what it's for. Because people want to feel like they're better than the next. And they cannot live with the fact that we are all equal. They don't want to be equal. Somebody got to be lesser and somebody got to sit high. And people have a God complex. That's what this is all about. I'm better than you. People want to be in a group that's better than the next. That's all it's about. So they demonize, they stereotype, and they dehumanize groups of individuals. But this shit been going on in America with blacks for forever. And goddamn it, y'all know what it is. They already said we're not human to them. That's what their ancestors said. We have to fight to be seen as humans. And hell, they still don't look as a human. But it's law now that we are considered human. So shit, they want to keep with old traditions so they can feel superior. That's why they call it white supremacy. They want to feel higher. They want your ass to bow. I was listening to a KK documentary. They said they don't hate black people. They just want you to know your place, black people, okay? They said black people can be useful if you just know your place. So they just want your ass to know your place. Huh? And bitch better not I tell you your place. That's all that is. So you know what it's about.
Not with them, because I've noticed that as well. You don't bring them to your home for the most part. You socialize. In the workplace, it's the same thing. You see white folks socializing with each other at their dinner parties, but they don't invite the black executives to their homes for dinner parties. I know this to be a fact. And secondly, the most precious day of the week is the most racist day of the week, or the most racial division, and that is Sunday, God's day. And so there's a lot of dichotomy that goes on with being embraced by white folks. And the question is that a limited embrace or is that a full embrace?
So let me ask you this, right? You being a judge with all the information
Somebody asked, they said, why do black folks try so hard to get our former slave master to accept us? Because they have the power. They have the system, okay? So, black people are afraid if they go against that, then they're going to get punished. So a lot of black people look at white people as God. They want their acceptance. They want their validation because they're afraid that the white system is going to punish them. So that's what that is. Shit.
No, how would you address this?
Well, what I would do is first of all bring in the finest attorney I could find that loves black people. So, in that sense, he's going to be compassionate about pursuing the truth because he loves black people. Let's start there. And then loves justice for black people. And knowing with the knowledge of the injustice that we have in the criminal justice system. So I want someone who's familiar with that. And I think they made the best selection, and that's my dear friend, Ben Crump. And the reason being is because, once again, the commitment. And how would I assist him in the case? I guess as I'm doing now, talking to him, but the objective would be to get it in front of the grand jury, and Ben's done that. And we're going to get all the interviews and testimony and come back and see what the prosecutor does. If the prosecutor makes the indictment, as they do 90% of the time that a case goes in front of the grand jury. Let's see.
All right. So I got a reback. Somebody says black people do not want white people acceptance. They just want to live in peace. And you absolutely right. A lot of black people don't want your fucking acceptance, okay? They just want you to leave them the fuck alone. Leave them alone. That's all that is. But you do have some blacks like Brandon Tatum that want their acceptance and want their validation. All right?
Let's see there what happens. That's what I would be looking for.
Let's see what happens. Judge Mathis, great interview, very insightful. Definitely got to bring you back on before we end the interview.
All right. So, honey, you saw that. What are your thoughts? Feel free to come up here. Let me hear what y'all got to say about that. I want to know what y'all got to say about that. Honey, and I'm going to tell y'all how I feel about this interview. If y'all don't mind, I want to tell y'all how I felt about this. But feel free to hit that link. I want to know what y'all got to say. But, honey, I listened to it, and this is what I got to say. Y'all seen that's Judge Mathis interview, right? Honey, I need y'all to see it. Because when I tell you this man said everything we've been saying from day one, everything. And he said it with a judge robe and still hanging in his closet. Not some random nigga on the internet. A judge, a lawyer, a man who's been in them rooms. And he looked at this Nolan Wells case and he said what we already knew, right? 4 men, white boys, get on a boat. 4, go to Horn Island, Mississippi. Only 3 came back. They said Nolan stayed behind, wanted to be alone. Cool, bet. But they got his phone in that boat. His phone. Judge Mathis said, and I'm quoting this man, you can't be that far off because the phone right in the boat. Say an hour or 2. If you're a real friend, you'll drive back. Did you hear me? A real friend would have turned that boat around, would have said, nah, he needs his phone. How he getting home? How he got no way to call nobody? Huh? He's stranded on an island in Mississippi, 90% of white Mississippi. And we just gonna leave his ass there? Nah, you ain't no friend. You something else. And we know what you are, right? And then the mama find out that they got his phone. Using a track app, had to hunt these white boys down to get her dead son's phone back. And when she gets it, the phone is scrubbed. It's deleted. I'm talking about cleaned out. Now, Judge Mathis, he careful with his words. He's a judge. He said, I don't know what evidence they have of that. But he also said, she has no reason to trump up anything. She wants to get to the bottom of this and who killed her son. Killed, he said. Did y'all catch that? He said killed. I don't believe he drowned. I believe he was killed. A judge said that on camera with his whole chest. And y'all still want to act like we making up stuff? And then he got into Mississippi. And honey, this is where I need y'all to really listen. He said 90% of whites in the state of Mississippi that has a history of demonizing and killing black men. He named names. Emmett Till, Medgar Evers, the civil rights workers. He said Mississippi got a history, y'all. And what happened? Police immediately acted or accepted the three friend story, the three white boys friend story. They just accepted it immediately. They didn't investigate. They didn't say, no, let's look into this. No. He drowned. Case closed. Judge Mathis said he deducted immediately from watching the news. He caught it. And he's not an investigator. He's a lawyer and a judge. But the police, the ones who's supposed to investigate, they couldn't figure this out, or they just didn't want to figure it out. Because let me tell you something. And one of y'all in the comments said it best. If the story was reversed, they would have been arrested already, baby. And you damn right. If 3 black niggas came back without that white boy, and they're being cussed before the boat hit the damn dock. And then Judge Mathis went there, honey. He went all the way there. He started talking about these so-called friends, how black kids in white spaces get used as entertainment. I'm cool because I got the black brother with me. But when we ain't, honey, they not inviting us over for dinner. He said he had to tell his own son at an all-white school, most popular kid, don't you let them turn you into no cowboy. Nolan, 18 years old, hanging with these white boys, and Judge Mathis asking, and this is a question, not a statement, how often did he go to dinner at their house? How often did they invite him over? Because we know the answer. We know. You can be the entertainment. You can be the cool black kid, but honey, you know the rest, right? Now, they got a grand jury, and some of y'all in the comments getting so hopeful. Woo, justice for Nolan. The grand jury gonna indict. Honey, I need y'all to slow y'all asses down. Can y'all slow down? Slow your ass down. Judge Mathis broke this down. Grand juries only hear one side, the prosecutor's side. The prosecutor decide what evidence they see. If the prosecutor don't want them to see anything, they don't see it. If the prosecutor misses some evidence, the grand jury got nothing to work with. He said 90% of grand juries indict, but that's when the prosecutors want to indict. If the prosecutor in Mississippi, remember, in that Mississippi, do not want to do it, don't want to indict, what if they forget to mention the squirrel phone? What if they overlook the fact that 3 friends left a black boy on an island with no phone and didn't turn back? Then what? Then we right back here, honey, screaming into the void while they bury another one of our babies. And honey, one of y'all said in the comments, your oppressor would never be your friend. That's the whole video right there. That's the whole case right there. That's Mississippi. That's America. Nolan Wells thought he had friends, thought he had boys, thought he was safe. And they left him on that island with his phone in their boat and went home. And the police said, okay. The prosecutor said, let's see. And the grand jury said, we waiting. Honey, but we ain't waiting quietly. We ain't waiting polite. Honey, we are screaming. We are posting. We are keeping his name alive because Nolan Wells mattered. His mama mattered. His family mattered. And if the system won't give us justice, we gonna make sure everybody knows what Mississippi did, what them friends did, what they always do. Honey, Nolan Wells, say his name. Nolan Wells. Rest in power, baby. Rest in power. Nolan Wells. Do y'all hear me? Do y'all hear me? Okay? Woo! I tell y'all what? All right? I'm going to need more of y'all to start hitting that link. All right?